everybody. I wanted to release this as sort of a conversation that we got into regarding the trans community and the problems that we're currently having in 2023 with the attacks in various forms of legislature in the US and what they're experiencing. Now, things get quite emotional, quite upheaved, and a lot of tension going around. What I wanted to point out is that even though it may look and come across like anger and hostility, I don't think there's any real anger here. The anger is a presentation, and people are afraid. Some people in this are very afraid. So I don't think that the anger that you're seeing is actually anger. I think it is actually fear of what's going to happen to them. Some sort of weird stuff happened with a certain person who was there, and nobody knew why he was there, and a few accusations got thrown around. Really, I'm trying to mend the community. You can see people turn on one another. You can see people attack one another. I try to be sort of a voice of reason and understand why people are afraid and upset and angry and just sort of enraged. But at the same time, I don't think that's helpful. I don't think communicating your feelings, which is what you want to do to get across how you feel and what your point is going to be helped by yelling at people. At the same time, I don't want to minimize the way that they feel. So after this happened, I got accused by somebody, I won't say who, but somebody of sort of kissing ass and sucking up to people and things like this. So, and they tried to say, hey, I did something wrong by doing what I did. I'll let you be the judge. If you want to think that, then fine. I don't think that I did anything wrong. And I think that showing more empathy towards all sides, you'll see me sort of stand up for one person and stand up for another person and try to get everybody to understand where each other is coming from. And this sort of plays into my belief that just with a bit more communication, we can come together and sort of do things. I guess this is sort of more political than religion, if that concerns you. I'll say that up front. But I think it's important that we hear from different people. And I do want to sort of show how hard it is to navigate some of these issues when people are that emotionally charged. And it was emotionally charged. But, it is what it is. Hope you enjoy it. Let's rumble.
You did, and hopefully there will be no dumpster fire because I can't go all night. And Mark, Pixie, how has your night been going? I hope you're well.
Oh, no complaints.
That's awesome. And Mark, always good to see you. Mark, I try to watch.
Always good to see you.
I try to watch you in Praise I Am stream.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh my god, I couldn't last 5 minutes. I was like, this is like no, it had nothing to do with you. It's all the other obnoxious, toxic, just assholes over there.
So I think when sort of Sam Harris sort of says, hey, you say something and you're jumped on by the left, I think, there's a problem where we have these statements that lead very often to more disparaging things about the trans community, like when somebody is saying, sort of this sort of semi-innocuous statement, but we know where it leads, right? This whole idea of they say something about gender dysphoria or something like that, right? And we know where that leads. It leads to trans people are mentally unwell kind of stuff. And I think it is the reason why the left, if you will, is so trigger happy when it comes to these sort of what Sam Harris says as something just sort of, off the bat, is because so often, it leads to these arguments that are really horrible. So I think, like, we hear some of these arguments on all kinds of things, we say, no, hold on, to try and nip it in the bud, to say, hey, I know where you're going with this, and it's not right. So I think personally that might be one reason why the reaction is so over exaggerated to what Sam Harris is saying. Oh, it's just a casual, like a fairly basic state. Yeah, but we've heard it lead down this track so often. I'm not necessarily saying that's right. It's just what I've experienced. These innocuous statements often are a path to real bigotry.
I see.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No, Leo,
one of the things that I think that I think is interesting is that we'll hear from people like Sam Harris, like Damar, like Richard Dawkins, Michael Shermer, people like that the left, tends to jump on people and all this stuff. But I don't think that that's even remotely what's happening. I think that this is an attempt at downplaying the fact that we have generations of people that are simply no longer going to tolerate the sort of implicitly racist and misogynistic comments that white men have been getting away with making for generations. It's just society has evolved past the point of allowing this kind of stuff to continue. More people are recognizing it. And I think the reason I think that we're seeing a lot of changes in society, not to go off on a tangent, is because of social media. So much more of the problems in society are so much more visible to people now. And as a result of this, more people are standing up demanding that something be done to address these problems. And a lot of these problems do come down to the kind of rhetoric and language and banter that many people, particularly from more privileged demographics of humans, at least here in America, tend to use. And they're just mad that they're now being called out for things that aren't considered any acceptable any longer. And this is sort of the retaliation. These are retaliatory tactics. That's why, not in every instance, but I would argue in the vast majority of them, this is usually a middle-aged or older white man, generally from either the United States, the United Kingdom, or Canada, the Western world. And I think that...
I was hoping Steph could stay. Oh, there you are, Steph. Sorry, you're back.
And this is just the last sentence I'll wrap up. And I think that the trend that we're seeing with the kind of people who are reacting this way to wokeism and cancel culture kind of demonstrates how it's sort of just an illegitimate overreaction to being held accountable for your words and actions.
Yeah, Stephanie, what's on your mind? I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, there's lots on my mind right at the moment. There's lots and lots on my mind right at the moment. It's just, oh, look, it's another Friday, and it's like every Friday since 2018 has been the same. I am so tired. I want you to understand how tired and how progressively and more progressively scared trans people are at the tone deafness of centrists who compromise with themselves when they don't realize that the goal of people like Matt Walsh is literally elimination. I'm trying to be as calm and as forthright as possible, but whether it's because of monetary reasons or whatever, we're the cash cow for the right wing right now. We are the Julia Serrano wrote a book about the trans experience called Whipping Girl. We are the whipping girls. And I use the phrase advisedly because you never hear anything from the right wing about trans men. You kind of do.
I've noticed that.
You kind of do when you know the who was it the transgender craze seizing our daughters. You kind of hear that, and that's just kind of a mafia kind of cry, but it's all sensational. And the thing is, in my lifetime, I transitioned starting in 1998. I have never seen it like this. This frenzy in the press, where everything is questioned. I'm a professional athlete. I have never seen the kind of frenzy around athletics until the present. It basically started in 2018 or so.
So,
and you know, I don't know how to communicate that. Like, why the fuck do you people give a shit? Why the absolute honest fuck do you care about us? You know, why should anyone make an individual person's decision to live as they are, as themselves, an issue for you to obsess about endlessly and make laws about and try to basically take people out of existence because you don't want us to exist? I am so sick and tired of cisgender people making fucking proclamations about what it's like to be trans and why are they like this, and what you don't think that we have not, people like me have not thought about this for years, have not dealt with these issues within our personal lives, in relating to society, in relating to our families, in talking this over with psychoanalysts, in dealing with fucking surgeons and medical doctors, in trying to be who we are as ourselves. And you fucking assholes have the fucking temerity to come at us and say you should fucking disappear. We have been with you since the beginning of time, and we will be with you forever. You can try to erase us. Fucking in 1933, next month, there's an anniversary of when people in the German government raided the Center for Sectoral Research in Berlin and burned all the books and kept all the records and sent all the people that went there to fucking concentration camps. I am sick and goddamn tired of people pretending that this is some sort of thing to play around with, and that my life and that my experience is something to be swept aside because it makes you uncomfortable. I'm sick of it. And if that's too much for you, then fuck you.
I'm sorry, Steph. I can hear your anger. I acknowledge your feelings. I don't know. The
fucking Biden administration just pulled a fast one on the trans community. Yesterday. No. I was up until 3:00 in the morning reading 115 pages of a bunch of justification around trying to compromise my humanity. And I am sick to death of people saying, we have your back. Because my back's against the goddamn wall, and you motherfuckers are tying my fucking hands.
Okay, I've got to look into it. Do you know off the top of your head what Biden or his administration were doing? Like, what
yes,
was?
they're making an amendment to Title IX to preserve. I mean, they're fighting. They're making. It's 115 pages to explain exactly one paragraph.
Jesus.
of an amendment to Title IX, and of course it's written in the Federal Register. Requests for comments are out there, but it does nothing. It does nothing to actually protect Title IX. If for those of you who are unaware of the way the United States works, Title IX is equality for sexes in education, which includes athletics. It's specifically about athletics, equality between men's and women's sport, and it goes down to the federal government in the United States has very little to do with like things at the scholastic level, by which I mean high school, etc. College is another issue because colleges receive federal funding, and it's basically education funding we're talking about here. But it's a technical change that is meant to. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and good motives. Their good motives are to stop the states that are literally ripping our humanity away from us in laws that want genital inspections of women, girls. Before they compete in collegiate athletics, that want records of their menstrual cycle before they compete in high school competition. I mean, it is just unbelievably bad.
Can I just say
what the states are trying to do, and what the federal regulation is trying to do is say, I don't have it right in front of me right at the moment, because as I said earlier in the chat, my computer died, my dinner fell on the floor, and I'm in a state, and I've been in a state for a day. But
can I just point out what happened in Arkansas as well was absolutely horrifying. A doctor sat down with the Arkansas, I believe Senate, I think. I'm not sure where they sat down, but one politician asked about the doctor's genitalia in the House kind of thing. Like, it was one of the most shameful things I've ever seen. God. Like,
well, Mark, there ain't no tits on the radio, it's
yeah, I mean, I can post the link if you want to show it, but please. This is the level of contempt that they're being shown. This is a doctor, right? This isn't just some random person. This is a doctor coming in to testify.
It's not Bobby Joe down the street.
Right, this is a professional.
Well,
let's pull this up.
Yeah, but the problem is Republicans are anti-intellectuals, so what the fuck do they care?
Right. They'll only pretend to care if it's within their best interest, but even then they don't fucking care. I'm kind of curious to hear this. It's only right at 2 minutes. Let's see what this says.
I will repeat what I just said.
Are you unaware of that?
I will repeat what I just said.
You said that you're a trans woman.
A trans female, yes, ma'am, sir.
Do you have a penis?
Oh my!
Oh my God!
Excuse me, wow! Whip this out!
And these are the mind you, these are the people that are going to protect your children. Hey, do you have a
Oh,
penis? Hey,
Jesus.
sir, before you
Same
go in there,
next
sir, ma'am,
laws,
ma'am,
yeah.
ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, 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 sir, ma'am, before you go in there, do you have a penis? Let me see your dick. Whip it out right now. Hey, John, go get the measuring tape. Bring it up quick. Like it's so fucking bad. And now they want to look at little kids' dicks and pussies in school
And
before they can play sports.
And this is a doctor
bad.
testifying, before an inquiry kind of thing. Who else would they do this to but a trans person, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what other person is this appropriate? If this was a male doctor, if this was a, cis male doctor, if this was a cis female doctor,
Right.
this would be absolutely inappropriate. So what makes this, being a trans female, appropriate suddenly? Like, why is that suddenly appropriate? It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
absolutely horrifying. I'm so mad about it. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Yeah,
Good on you Aussies for spilling some tomato juice over Posey Parker. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Mark, you make a good point, because if this was a cis dude, that's a doctor. They just like, oh yes sir, especially if the cis dude is white, mind you. That also goes a long way. But yeah, as soon as it's a trans woman,
well, hang on. Even if it was a black cis man or a black cis woman, it would still be totally inappropriate.
Absolutely.
Well, if it was anybody, it would be inappropriate.
Anybody.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it does seem to be like.
I'm sorry, but the most perfect comeback would have been ask your wife. I'm sorry. That's why you couldn't put me in front of him. You couldn't put me in front, because that's what I would say. I'd be like, ask your wife.
Yeah, but this poor lady is trying to be professional.
I know.
She's been called there for a professional reason. I like that she is taking a more professional stance than the person who has been elected to represent her, which is ridiculous. That's just
right.
I mean,
I do want to see where this goes. Okay, we're not off to a good start, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's horrible.
Sorry.
It's not it's just not a good look these days.
No.
You're the one that brought that into the discussion.
I never said anything about genitalia.
Oh, it has everything to do with genitalia.
I don't know what my rights are right now. I'm not through with questions, but I'm not going to answer that question. That's highly inappropriate.
Again, you can say that, and that's your right. So.
Okay, I'm a healthcare professional, doctor. Please treat me as such.
Listen, I talked to a 10-year-old girl back in the fall, and you know where she got her idea to have one of these surgeries? Off of TikTok. Because the Chinese were showing this little girl on TikTok.
The evil Chinese racist pieces of shit.
Goddamn commies and their.
The fact that there are still people like this sitting in state senates and state legislative chambers, all fucking across the southwest and midwestern United States, is just fucking appalling.
All right, so this is literally this is the change that is proposed. It's in Title IX. It's a change to Title IX. It's adding one paragraph to Title IX. It's section 106.41 athletics. 106.41b separate teams, wherein they describe the separate teams. Like boys and girls, and together me rourke with the light, fantastic. Anyway, so they propose to insert after separate teams, which is paragraph 1, if a recipient of federal funds adopts or applies sex-related criteria that would limit or deny a student's eligibility to participate on a male or female team consistent with their gender identity. Such criteria must, for each sport, level of competition, and grade of or education level, be substantially related to the achievement of an important educational objective, and 2, minimize harms to students whose opportunity to participate on a male or female team consistent with their gender identity would be limited or denied. Now, what they're trying to do here is stop blanket bans on trans participation in sport, as have been enacted in several states in the United States. I understand it's a noble goal. Unfortunately, it's not enough to stop the people who will say that, according to Section 2, paragraph item 1, be substantially related to the achievement of important educational objective. And I think that teaching children that sex is binary and that it can't change, and that there are boys and girls, is an important educational objective. You don't think that's going to be argued? It will be argued. And minimize harms to students whose opportunity to participate on a male or female team consistent with their gender identity would be limited or denied. If you're checking kids' crotches, there might be a little bit of harm there. Don't you think? Maybe. So it's an addition that doesn't solve the problem, because the problem is the determination on the part of ideologues, and I'll use that word because my ideology is just fucking let me alone and let me live. That's it. I don't have an ideology. The trans people I know run the gamut from right of Attila the Hun to left of Mao Zedong. There is no fucking ideology here. All we want to do is live our fucking lives, and you goddamn people won't let us. You never have. It's only gotten worse. You don't know how hard trans people struggle to be who they are. You don't know how much we pay. You don't know how much we sacrifice. You don't know what it's like to grow up thinking to grow up this way, to have to deal with this shit, to deal with the problems of coming out to family and friends and society and business partners and all of this. You have no idea what gender dysphoria is. You have no clue, because it doesn't concern you, but you want it to concern you when it comes to matters of law. And I want every fucking religious asshole to come in here and tell me who I am, because boy, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel so fucking great to have Sam Harris explain to a trans woman why she should wait. Do I need to fucking read again, as I have done over the past 3 months, Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail about how long should we fucking wait for you fucking moderates to get your heads out of your ass and realize we're up against the goddamn wall? Quit it. Stand with us, listen to us, speak with us, not for us. Please.
I like the way you said that, Stephanie. Speak with us, not for us. I think that's beautiful. And other than that, I don't know what else to say, because, I mean...
Well, I got something to say here.
Yeah.
Can you get these ugly-ass, old-ass white dude faces and get these ugly fucking mugs off the goddamn screen here?
Yeah.
Actually, yes, but
no, I'm not
okay
talking about you, Mark. Your face is beautiful.
Oh, thank
no,
you.
Mark is beautiful. But are you okay with watching just like 15 more seconds?
Oh, I'm good with watching more of it. I just wanted.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because that is a
Being
good
a bit
point. I didn't even think
facetious.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's watch it. I'm going to shut up and let you all talk, and I'll
No,
just
it's
try to
okay,
calm
Steph.
myself down.
It's
I'm
perfectly
fucking-
okay. I really I can never understand what you go through because I'm not in the same position. I get that, but I at least have empathy for what you're feeling.
It's all I can ask, mate.
Yeah.
It's all I can ask
Yeah.
of anyone, and it's all I've ever asked of anyone. And believe me, this is not something I have to deal with, except when I'm pleading with people, please do something.
All right. Well, we'll finish this up so we can get these. Yeah, these all
let's
these
do
other people out.
Roll it. Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
So now we're getting our information from the Chinese Communist government on how to keep these surgeries going.
Sorry.
Stop going along with this language games that they've created. These
Do you think that, like,
ideologues want us to play.
The
Good.
Chinese
Men and women.
pay everybody on TikTok?
It's hard not to give commentary on this shit.
I know it's
These
ridiculous.
goddamn
This is,
commies.
this is straight
It
out
is.
of the fucking.
Yeah.
This is straight out of the fucking 50s.
This
and
is
60s,
SNL.
You know, it's the same.
Let's look at the argument here. You're right. It's like SNL. The Chinese invented the trans to weaken America. Like, you can't make this shit up.
No.
Like,
No. Hold on.
You know,
The Vietnamese invented the trans.
they did
Right?
have a culture of yes, yeah.
Lots of trans in like a lot of trans in Vietnam. Like by which I mean they actually have the name trans to get the entire.
Oh, well, they
no
have a
trans
culture.
in China. I don't know
see
of
what
any
you-
trans
see
in
what
China,
you're
but
Okay, well, all right, let's just watch this. Let's get this out of the way. My God, I'm also having to bite my tongue, but thank you all.
Boys and girls. There's no such thing as having a place on the gender spectrum.
Oh,
It's true for horses. It's true for cows. It's true for
We're not
dogs.
horses.
It's true
We're
for
not
every
horses.
other species
We're
on the
not
planet.
It doesn't
We're
matter
not all
how
the other
long you go to
species on the
church.
planet.
It doesn't how long you, how many people you marry. If you're transgender and you're truly transgender, you'll be transgender. It's how you deal with this. And I don't want the youth of Arkansas to be in bondage and not be able to do something about their condition. Therefore, this law is unnecessary and unneeded, and I ask the committee to vote no.
Thank you.
oh, we got to it. Okay. And William, welcome aboard. Good stuff.
Hi.
That video felt legit like a parody.
Mhm.
It's so sad that their serious faces and their serious talking points were just that comical.
You're welcome, William, but not me.
trans healthcare for adults has been outlawed in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So you know if
That's ridiculous.
I ain't moving to
Yeah.
you know if I was a part of a company and I had to move to say Tulsa, what would I do? I could be imprisoned for medical for having the drugs my doctor prescribes to me. How does that make sense? This is the party of less government that says that my physician shouldn't treat me as a whole human appropriately according to medical science. And that issue is key to me, and as it is key, it's with the previous issue of banning the abortion pill. That some judge is making a medical decision for everyone in the United States of America. is prescribing a treatment for a medical condition for everyone in the United States of America who happens to have a uterus and can bear a child. That, you really want, we had a whole discussion when we were talking about healthcare, socialized medicine, as they called it, which maybe that's not woke. We had a whole discussion about death panels. It was a big thing on the right wing. And these people don't want death panels. They want death judges to tell individual families, individual people, what their health care ought to be. Even if they don't know a goddamn thing about their medical history, their background, their anything. Some fucking Texas judge says he knows better than science. Now think about how that expands.
Texas and science don't really mix, so I mean.
I know they don't, but think about how that expands. Some judge somewhere decides the earth is flat. Well, them scientists, they don't know nothing. They don't know shit. I know better than you do. I don't care about them. I don't care about them other statistics and whatnot, your theories. I know the earth is flat because it says so right here. Matthew blah, blah, blah. Joe blah, blah, blah. Go fuck yourselves. This is the nonsense. This is the nonsense world we are headed to. And for you all, it's theoretical. And for me, that may be hyperbolic. But I am telling you, for me, it's reality today. It's not theoretical. And it won't be for you. And I suspect that 100 years ago, or 90 years ago, in 1933 Germany, a lot of people were saying the same thing to their people. But they couldn't do it on YouTube, and they couldn't do it on Twitter, and they couldn't do it here and there. So I'm hopeful that maybe somebody will fucking listen. And I actually think that people are listening. I think that younger people realize the con.
I do agree with that. I feel like a lot of the older generations, well, especially the boomers, but even the like Gen Xers, talk a lot of shit about like the younger generation, and I think no, like they're on the right.
Like the older generations talk shit about them, and then the even older generations talk shit about the old generations. Yeah.
Boomers hate it when they talk millennials hate it when boomers talk shit about them, but yet millennials will talk shit about like Gen Y or Z, whatever the next generation is. And I'm like, you guys are doing the same fucking thing. Like,
I'm a millennial. And I don't do that.
Well, I'm not saying everyone, but
yeah. Just watch the idiots around. Watch the idiots around you. Is my point.
What year were you born, Mark?
This kind of crap has been with me my entire life. It's not. This shit's not new. And it's been worse. I mean, homophobia has been terribly worse. I mean, once upon a time, it was illegal to be queer, and people would be thrown in.
What year were you born?
Being queer, 1976.
Okay.
I was born 76. Yeah, so I'm 46, going on 47.
But keep an eye on the people around you because in every generation there are idiots.
And I just want to reference that poem from World War II, First They Came, right? So for the socialists and I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did nothing. And then, they came for the Jews kind of thing. We could easily adapt that to first they came from the trans and I did nothing. Then they came for the, gays and I did nothing. Then they came for the rest of the left.
The women.
And then they came for me.
And then the socialists and the communists and the black people. Well, I would say first they came for the black people and I did nothing because I was not black. Then they came for the women and I did nothing because I was not a woman. Then they came for the Jews and I did nothing because I was not Jewish. Then they came again for the black people and I did nothing because I wasn't black. Then they came for the gays and I did nothing. See, there's a trend here. You'll notice that at every major instance of social progress in human society, it's always opposed by conservatives. There is no major movement for social progress anyone can point to where conservatives and traditionalists were the ones fighting for it. Not one.
I mean, it's in the name.
Leo. Well, that's the nature of conservatism and
that's
traditionalism. That's in. Yeah, but I think it's important to realize the last line of the poem is, and then they came for me, and there was no one left to defend me. Mm-hmm. Right. So that was the whole point of the poem, is that if you don't stand up for others, that when somebody comes for you, there'll be no one left to stand up for you. We've got to stand together. And them attacking the trans, you may not be trans, you might not know anyone that is trans, but if you believe in the well-being of people, we've got to stand up together.
Yeah, and that's what intersectionality is all about. That's why to be blunt about the atheist community, it's like within people who lack a belief in God, that seems like that's fine. You lack a belief in God, but do you believe in people? Mm-hmm. If you don't believe in people, I mean, there are people of faith who carry a faith, no matter what the faith is, that believe in people.
Right.
So I am not a person who demands of someone who has faith that they give it up.
Right.
Can
I think that it's really fucking important for people to believe in each other and in our common humanity first.
Well, there's theological humanists. Like, there's people that believe in God but follow humanism, that humans are important. And that's all we need is compatible morality. Like, we don't need you to believe exactly as I do. We just got to say, well, are people in society important to you? That's it. That's all.
I wanted to I wanted to point out some names of some leading figures in the atheist community over the last 10 or 15 years, and I want anybody who notices anything interesting to point something out. So you've got Richard Dawkins, Matt Dillahunty, Michael Shermer, Sam Harris, Lawrence Krauss, Aaron Ra. You've got people like Rationality Rules, Cosmic Skeptic, Paul Gia.
Yeah, they're all right.
I'm not saying anything bad necessarily about any of these people, but there's an interesting trend to be found there.
You're not you're not saying they're racist, but they're racists.
I didn't say anything about that or even imply it.
Yeah, he was just saying some names, and
I just pointed out a trend.
Yes,
I just pointed out a trend. I think that's exactly what I did. I did point it out. That's literally what I just did.
You pussyfooted around it.
I pussyfooted around what?
Forget it.
I do want to say hello to William. William, what's going on? What might you bring to the table tonight, good sir?
Oh man, it's just the same old gravy. I'm keeping it warm. I'm not sure exactly what I need to say about this.
Oh, I don't know if you have anything to say.
It's pretty clear from the beginning what Leo was getting at with his list of names there.
What do you think? Leo
I'm not
is
sure
getting
I
at?
understand what it is. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, they're all white guys.
Well,
Just white
yeah,
guys.
but this community is made up of a lot of white people.
Right.
To begin with.
And
so
that's not a moral judgment. It's just an observation, I would say.
It's just
well, and the thing
was
is,
I mistaken? What the comparison was
the
revealing?
thing is that Stephanie had mentioned intersectionality, and then she had mentioned the atheist community, and you know, sociology is one thing that a lot of people in our community could do well to learn a little bit about, and social epistemology as well.
Right, but I'm just asking, was that the common factor that you were alluding to with that list?
That they are white men? Yes, of course.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I guess there are some representatives that are sort of women and stuff like Shannon Q, but I wouldn't say she's a leader of the atheist movement. I would like to see more intersectionality in the atheist movement. I really would.
Cynthia
you know what?
Cynthia McDonald is huge. She's a strong,
black woman,
wonderful person. And you know, I think there are nuances and nuances. I don't think you can basically just paint with a broad brush here.
Right.
I think it's pretty important.
I think on the YouTube
there is now.
I think in the YouTube debate circles. Oz, you're echoing me.
Oz, you're bringing echo with you.
Wow, this is literally an echo chamber. This is literally an echo chamber.
All right, let's. Nope. Still an echo.
Just give him a second.
Yeah.
Still an echo.
Still echo. Echo chamber.
I'm gonna test
Echo
something.
chamber.
Yeah, echo chamber. I'm gonna test something. I've got Oz on mute for just a second. Is there any echo? No echo.
Nope.
I'm gonna unmute.
Nope.
I'm muted. Okay. Oz, there's bad echoing on your side. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Perfect.
Can I provide a little bit of clarification to my previous?
Yeah.
So I don't want to I want to be seen as saying that there's no diversity in the atheist community, or that like the atheist community is terrible and they're all a bunch of racists. I'm just pointing out that over the last decade or so, the largest voices in that community have been white men. That's all I was pointing out.
Yeah. No. I understood your point.
Philosophy bros.
Oh well, most of them are definitely
Well,
not
people were
that.
doing better than better than me, because I think I'd only heard one name in that list before. And I don't even know what they look like, so I couldn't picture any of them. I was just like, I don't know what these list of names is.
Well, Lawrence Krauss is a handsome devil, I'll tell you that.
I don't know who that is, though.
Actually, I'm the handsome devil.
You're telling. Wait, hold on.
Well, everybody knows that radiant one.
You probably
the only name in that entire list I recognized was Aaron Raw, but not because I know who that is, because I hear
you don't know
people
Matt
talk about him.
Dillahunty? You actually have never heard the name Matt Dillahunty?
Wild talks about him. Wild talks about him a lot.
What about Richard Dawkins? Never heard of Richard Dawkins. The God Delusion?
It's okay. You don't have to have heard of
There's
these
no
people.
need to go down.
This is Lawrence Krauss, by the way.
Oh, he's a looker.
He's a looker.
I mean, with the beard, he doesn't look bad, but he's kind
You're
of
right.
I mean, he's kind of. Look, I'm not going to call him a piece of shit, but he's.
Leo,
he's
we can talk about misogyny within the atheist community too.
Of course.
And trans misogyny, but you know, what's the point? You know, what is there a point there?
Yeah, it should be.
I thought we were talking about how dazzlingly handsome Lawrence Krauss was. I don't know how we got off of that. That was interesting.
I would say if you're going to talk about Lawrence Krauss, then I think you need to call him cosmically handsome.
Oh snap!
Universally handsome, even.
No, there's nothing handsome about him. If you get my meaning.
His handsomeness pops in and out of existence.
Oz, what's going on tonight? How are you doing, good sir?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm glad you're here. what's been going? So I noticed that the name from Tang, it went from tart to Tang to now the flavor.
Or flavor. Yeah, I wasn't really here.
Is your channel having an identity crisis? Is that what's happening? What's going on?
It'll be a different name 2 years from now.
About every 2 years, we rebrand. Haters gonna hate.
I can't stay away.
But no, I think the flavor. I think. Let me just ask you, Oz. I think what I gathered from what Jenna was saying was having atheists within the name kind of constrained certain topics that maybe y'all wanted to touch on. Is that what I understood to be correct?
Well, I don't know what your conversation was with Jenna, but we are on the same page. We're sick of the echo chamber, where it's the same conversations over and over. So yes, we do want to open it up to different conversations, whether it has to do with religion or God, but more than that, whether it's sex, sexuality, pop culture, like having more of those conversations, how they affect us as non-believers, and it not just be does God exist? How do you ground your morality? You know, and that just draining, like every single day, having those conversations, and really getting to the brass tacks of why do we do what we do? Is it about people being who they want to be and being the best version and the happiest version of who they want to be, or is it just to do this constant loop? Right? Because I feel like, and I don't want to talk for everybody, but I feel like we
talked about this before.
I feel like we get caught in this loop where it's just we have the same conversation over and over and over again, and we don't focus on who we are and what's making us happy. So that was
the same thing earlier on my stream, just not in so many words.
No, but I do get that, because doing like counter apologetics, like there's only so many ways you can say the same 5 things over and over again. But I get that completely.
Once you get past "you're full of shit," where do you go from there?
Exactly, and that's my whole point. That's where I know what Jen and I have talked about. That's where we're at. It's you're full of shit. So where do we go from there? Well, then what we do is we focus on what makes us happy as non-believers. What do we do individually to make us happy as non-believers, and not let all this shit pollute or taint, you know, our day-to-day lives. And I think for those that are former believers, sometimes we have to hit that pause button. We have to hit that strategic pause button and take some time off and say, you know what? It's not all about this. It's not all about this conversation. It's about being the best version of ourselves we can be. So that was that. That's not why I jumped on here. I appreciate.
I can understand that. I can understand. I suppose I'm coming from a different direction because I've never been a believer. It's kind of, you know, it's fascinating to me how people end up at these ends, these ideas kind of thing. You know, I was watching a P-Town stream the other day, and the way that he gets to where he gets is absolutely fascinating.
P-Town has streams? Wow.
Apparently so, yeah. Yeah.
Well, P-Town's next on my radar because he fucked with my homie, Josh. He's next on my radar.
It was a nice conversation.
Don't you go messing with.
Whoa.
When it comes to P-Town, one of the most mind-blowing things he told me was that the eclipse proves God, and I will never
that's one of his best
that was like his best argument, and I'm like, oh my God. Wow.
P-Town had a cordial conversation with Josh, but then he did a review of that conversation with some other numbskull.
Howard,
that just tried to within the first 10, 15 minutes, whatever, just try to shit on Josh because of his background, because of his haircut, like just ad hominems all up front. And I'm like, no, now you're on the radar, bro.
Oh
that
yeah,
was just a
P-Town
joke,
is
dude.
notorious.
I'm pretty sure that was just a joke.
Yeah, no, like even if it's a joke, it's I don't know. But P-Town loves doing that. He also, what I've noticed, he also loves to play the victim, and loves to troll. It's like, I'm in a room full of atheists. P-Town.
Here's the thing. For me, I've played the nice, I've played the nice atheist role. Like did the SE, the Socratic method, and guess what? On the YouTubes, on the interwebs, that shit don't work. I'm done with it. I'm just gonna start calling your ass out. Like,
you can do both.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. I do both. I yell at people while I ask questions.
Yeah, I do both at the same time. I get places, and if not, then they get mad and leave.
Hey, dumbass! What are the conditions for
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Danny, I love you, and you have way more patience than I do, bro. Way more patience, and I think that's what it comes down to. Is I don't have patience to listen to them try to blah 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 blah. It's like, no, you're a piece of shit.
I get you. I'm telling you what I think, though. Like for me, I'm not saying that anybody's approach is wrong. I'm just saying what I still find it fascinating how they get to where they are, and I don't see what P-Town did as this massive, thing that disrespected Josh. It was just. I don't see it like that.
It wasn't. Ooh, I'm not going to eliminate P-Town because P-Town brought up shit that never should have been brought up for this conversation.
Like what?
If you watch the review, because he brought up, well, Josh is an openly bisexual male.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That had anything?
I did not see that.
Oh no! Really? What the fuck?
Has that had anything to do with the conversation? But then his cohort was like, well, if you look at Josh's background, he has all these books behind him. So he wants you to know that he's smart. He's commanding authority. And then if you look at his haircut, and he pulled this,
Danny,
Wikipedia thing up. And
look at Danny. He's got books. Like he wants to.
Let's not talk about haircuts. Look at this mess. Jesus.
Well, I've got books. Everybody knows I'm not smart.
But what I'm
we can't talk about Mark's
we're not talking about Mark's haircut.
Yeah.
Because which one?
I won't go any further into it. But you have two motherfuckers on the screen, P-Mars and whoever his cohort is, that hide behind the avatar while
no, it was Power Word. Power Word.
While trying to tell Josh what his background and his haircut look like while they hide behind avatars. Get the fuck out of here.
I see.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
real
just
got
don't take that seriously.
Danny has been like making it big on TikTok, and for that I kind of hate him a little bit. But Danny, it's so good to see you. What is going on in your life right now, my dude? Are you employed or what? Because last few times we talked to you, you've been like fired and then rehired and then fired again.
Just bring out the Southern mom, Ger. Just bring out the
you're my boy.
I currently teach algebra at a high school, and I teach at my local university.
One or two?
One. I teach algebra 1.
Okay.
And I
you
teach
like math,
I teach philosophy of religion at my local university too. So I do 2.
Okay.
Cool.
I didn't know you like math.
Algebra 1's pretty easy, and I've been.
Isn't it just a lot of graphing?
Well, what happened was one of the teachers.
A lot
of graphing, lots of functions. We're doing like a lot, quadratic.
Are you doing systems of linear equations yet? Linear equations and
I did that in the first semester. But what happened was the teacher that I replaced, there was an emergency, was selling e-cigarettes to the students. And
hey, teachers need more love too, right?
Welcome to America.
Why do you think some of them dressed up as scary monsters in Scooby-Doo? They need money.
I applied for the position saying that, look, I've taught physical science before, and there's a lot of algebra in physical science. I can teach basic algebra. And they're like, fine. And so I'm certified in science. I'm not certified in algebra or math. So they just put me in there. They're paying me full, but it's like I'm in emergency, like
But Danny, how does that even fucking follow? Like, I'm not saying the way you're saying is wrong, but I don't understand how somebody could be certified in science, but not math. That's like saying, yeah, I'm certified in metaphysics, but not in philosophy. Like, what? I don't know what that means. Like,
it might be, you might be onto something, but you'd be surprised. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. Think about your high school teachers, high school science teachers. How many of them can do algebra 2 or geometry?
Well, I know I can't say about my one that taught the biology and the advanced biology, but the one that did physical science and then physics, and it was still an algebra-based physics. It wasn't calculus-based. But he could do more advanced algebra for sure. He could do calculus.
I would guess like less than 30% of science teachers, especially 9th, 10th grade science teachers and below, probably don't know algebra 2, don't know how to do pre-calc trig.
The high school that you teach at, do they offer calculus?
The collapse of the American
Empire.
So
it's tricky.
Right
it's complicated, but short answer,
guys.
It's complicated because they've divided the high school. They split into two. They put the 9th graders in a separate high school and the 10th, 11th, 12th graders in a different high school, but it's the same building. So it's complicated.
But
I just want to say,
do they offer calculus?
I just want to say,
yeah,
yes.
I just want to say, if Jill can be a teacher, anybody can be a fucking teacher.
Okay, no, but this is really weird.
No,
I still haven't gotten an answer to my question.
A teacher. I want proof.
Wait, what was your question, Leo?
I want to know if at the high school that Danny teaches at, if they offer calculus as the class.
Well, technically no, because they've divided the campus in terms of 9th grade and then all other grades. So
yeah, but I curious how that
freshman high. I teach at the freshman high. I don't teach at the upperclassmen high, but it's the same campus, so it's weird.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the whole campus. At any classes on that campus is calculus offered.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Hey, Gur. Well, I'm going to take off here in a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to thank Oz for he gave me some really encouraging, kind words when I needed it. So I just wanted to thank him.
Oh, that's what's up.
But I'm going to go ahead and take off. You guys have a good night.
But Mark is right.
Hold on. William, before you go, I do have that.
Oh, he just left.
He jumped.
But Mark is right. Almost anybody. It's not hard. As long as you have a bachelor's degree, you can teach anything. So it's not that difficult. Now, being a teacher, but being good at the job, that's different.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure if you have the same thing we have, which is DipEd, which is like a diploma of education kind of thing. Like, so you can do teaching plans and things like that.
Sorry, what are you talking about in the UK?
No, Australia. They have a diploma of education that you need before you can actually teach, kind of thing. But I'm not sure. If you have
a bachelor's degree, then in order to be certified, you have to get certified after. And I am certified to teach. I'm just not certified. There are two certifications. There's the teacher certification and there's the content certification. And I have both, but my content certification is in biology. Okay.
Right.
So, but I'm not qualified technically to teach any other content outside of like biology and lower science, lower like middle school, elementary science. Because if you're certified with a high school science, you're certified to do middle school and lower school as well. But but you can use your teacher certification to teach any content for up to 3 years in the state that I'm in, as long as they think you can do it.
Is this what you want to do, Danny? Teach?
Yeah,
like actually, like as a actual profession, for your life.
Yeah, I think so. I've always loved it.
Danny has always struck me as a teacher.
But
any particular level, like collegiate, high school, like is there one that you prefer?
Probably. So I've taught my first college class, and they're not that much different than my 10th grade, 12th grade students. But that's because I taught philosophy. I teach philosophy now at the college. They have zero background knowledge for some of the, like most of the students, zero background knowledge. So they have as much background knowledge in philosophy as a 10th grader, right? So it's actually because I taught philosophy in high school as well, and they're like on the same level, right? Whereas like if you taught chemistry to 20-year-olds, they've got that high school background, so you can kind of start from somewhere on it generally. But so it's actually not that much different teaching high school philosophy and like philosophy 1000 entry level philosophy courses at college. There's not much of a difference.
I applaud you for teaching critical thinking. That's sorely needed out there, quite frankly.
Yeah, well,
you're not wrong.
I do it for fun, but yeah, that's a byproduct, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. My wife is a professor, music professor. She teaches theory and music appreciation, music history, and violin, and they really like her. But she threatened to quit because she's long distance. She only lives with me three days a week, so she wanted to quit. She's like, okay, we'll try to get a job for your husband to teach philosophy over here. Now, I don't think they're going to be. I don't know how.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but we're probably going to deny it because it's in the middle of Mississippi.
Oof.
Yeah, I can see that.
The closest Walmart is probably 3 or 4 hours away, 2 or 3 hours away.
Yeah.
If I can, real quick, because I just watching the side chat. And what's up, Jay? And Jay knows I always got his back. And before William dipped, I did want to ask William because I did give some encouraging words several weeks ago. He said he'd walked away from the faith. It was like a day, the day after he had supposedly walked away from the faith. And I don't know this individual, but I gave encouraging words. But for those in the chat that I don't know if you don't know how to do simple Google searches, but the raccoon or the coon is anti-black imagery. So don't minimize that. But
you're assuming that's why he chose it, aren't you?
That's a thing that's been going on for years.
Decades.
For years.
More than that,
years.
That didn't even cross my mind, to be honest with you.
I happen to not believe he's racist at all, and I think you're making assumptions about his intent in choosing the imagery. And if you would like to do that, that's fine, but be clear that that's what it is.
Hold on. See, Pixie, you jumped way ahead of the train there. You jumped way ahead of the train. Because what I said is I would have liked to have the conversation with William before he dipped out. And I'm not saying he dipped out because he didn't want to have the conversation. He just dipped out, whatever's going on. But I would have liked to have that conversation with him, because if it is true that he has turned away from faith, and a lot of the things that are intertwined within Christianity, I would have liked to know where did you get the idea to have that? Why do you have that? And what's the purpose? And maybe it's innocent, but for millennia, like this is a image. This is something that's put forth as a racist idea, a racist ideal, a racist picture. So yes, it's very fair. It's very fair that Jay or anyone would bring that up and point it out, and to say that they're wrong in doing that is just ripping the wound open and pouring salt in it.
I didn't say that they were wrong for doing that. What I said, and you can go look, is if you're antagonizing somebody who hasn't spoken to you and you're calling them antagonistic and you're displaying the behaviors you are calling out, I will not pretend to see you as better. That's what I said, and I stand by that.
So, okay,
William's not here.
And like I said,
yeah, and it could just be Rocket Raccoon or something. I mean, there's a lot of different.
Yeah, my channel banners are red.
William's not here. If I could just say, William's not here. There's history that I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm not. I think it's unfair. There's obviously history. I don't like this remember that time when, because it seems unproductive.
Yeah, but
Can
like,
I
just
clarify?
my channel banner's a raccoon. Does that make no one's accused me of shit. I'm confused.
I think it would be wise to just drop the whole.
I don't really care what you think.
Davy Crockett had a raccoon hat. What the fuck? It's like Jesus Christ. Let's just
except I'm not Davy Crockett. So that's
I know you're not, but you gotta know. You get, for fuck's sake,
up.
everybody.
Lord, you have been talking this entire cock-sucking stream.
Hey, kiss
Shut
my
the
ass.
Fuck up. No, ew, gross. I don't want to get diarrhea.
Whoa.
Shut up.
Wow,
Let me
let's
fucking
take
talk.
a breath.
Jesus cocksucking Christ.
Okay, yeah.
Can I get more than a fucking sentence out with you screaming? You fucking old hag.
No, because I just want to say, I don't know what
you're worse than me.
I don't know what your beef with me is, lady, but chill.
You haven't shut up.
Well, let's let Kat finish her point, and then I want to say hello to Jay.
No, it would not be wise for me to continue this. It would be wise for me to drop it.
Great. Shut the fuck up, then.
That's
great. Now, what seems to be the problem with William? First off, dude comes in here second week in a row with the coon imagery, then switches it mockingly to a black guy with a very, let's just say, outlandish look on his face, and then continues to cycle through problematic imagery, then switches to a character that was called out because that character is a rapist in a popular film. Now, multiple people noticed that this person is hiding behind.
Hold on. Pause for a second.
We're not even going to do this. We're not even going to do this. I sat here and observed everything that happened. We're going to run through it real quickly. Okay? He was called out in the chat and on the stream for it. Furthermore, I do have history with him. I was on this very channel a week ago today when he was having a problem with the trans issues. He called in then deliberately as a troll to antagonize us about the trans issue, which is the only reason he called in this week again to begin with. So stop acting like I didn't have perfectly reasonable grounds to call him out. And I wasn't the only person. And furthermore, there's a culture on this channel where a lot of us love girl. We do think the dumpster fire, let anybody calls in, gets a little out of control, because then we have these antagonistic people who constantly call in and frustrate people. And it triggers us. Why do we have to stand for being deliberately triggered? And this is what Stephanie was talking about with weak-ass allyship. You let him sit there and display and cycle through dog whistling, bigoted imagery on purpose. Nobody says anything. And then when I say something, you want to speak out against me instead of him?
Jay, take a breath. Take a breath,
if he's done screaming at me, may I speak now?
Here.
That's okay. Look.
I'm going to speak now because he was screaming at me.
Okay, sure, Pixie. Yeah.
First of all, I also have history with Will. And while Will and I disagree on very, very many things, I think he is heavily misrepresented by a lot of people who can't get past their disagreements with him. And that is fine. People are allowed to do that, right? But I also think that they are taking their experiences and projecting a lot of extra on him. Okay? I happen to have been in rooms where conversations about why the raccoon imagery was chosen, and it has nothing to do with race. As a matter of fact, half of them will cycle through raccoon images of different kinds because it's a whole thing that has nothing to do with racism. The image of the black guy, as you so put it, is a person he has history with. It was a specific image of a specific person that he has history with. Do I approve of their memes going back and forth? No. Is it my business? No. Was it aimed to be offensive at anybody in particular? Probably only the person that is in the image. The others I wasn't paying attention to. I did see a ghost image at one point. Love the band. The rest I wasn't paying attention to. I don't know every photograph he cycled through, right? Does he troll sometimes? Sure, probably especially if he's with Serb. because Serb likes to troll too. But all of this other shit is shit that people are adding on, right? And what I said was that you were down there typing a bunch of shit talking at him, calling him antagonistic. And I don't think that makes you better than the thing you were complaining about. And despite you coming up here to scream at me about what a horrible person I am, I have not changed my mind. You have only cemented it.
Pixie, I want to let you finish because
William
just came back. And William, okay, so I typically when I stream, I am not even looking at the screen, so I don't know what avatars you've posted. I know you as your raccoon avatar. Listen, I'm a white dude. I've never known the racist historical actions of raccoons, but yeah. So what's going on with this? Or is there something going on?
Are we talking about this one? Are we talking about Veckel?
No, we're talking about the raccoon.
Don't know.
Raccoon imagery
the raccoon.
is specifically raccoon imagery. What's up with that, mate?
Okay. I just saw. Okay, so you go from raccoon to.
Well, what's up with it? You know,
what's going on?
I like raccoons.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're mischievous and nocturnal, just like me.
So
Can I say a few things?
So in other words, you're LARPing.
Guess not.
No. Yes, I'm LARPing as a raccoon.
Let's let Leo. Let's Leo talk.
Oh yeah, Leo.
So the first thing that I wanted to clarify, that should have been clarified 15 fucking minutes ago, is I don't think Oz deliberately said that William was anything or not. What I think he said is, I would like to talk to him about it because this imagery can be and has frequently been used in derogatory ways against certain demographics of people. But I don't ever think he said, I know that Will is deliberately doing this. So that was the first thing that needs to be clarified. The other thing I want to say is with regard to the raccoon picture. Now, I don't really know Will, but I've seen him around. And I can remember from a few months ago that seeing that picture. Now, that being said, I can't say that downplays any potential implications other people may see. And thirdly, we have now 2 black people in the side chat saying that they believe that a lot of the imagery that Will has used, and even some of the language that he has used in the past, seems to contain certain implications with respect to race. And I think to sit here and I do think there is a point that Jay is getting at, to sort of for anybody to just be like, well, no, I haven't experienced that, is like when you're a white person who has another white friend, but you also have a black friend, and your black friend tells you that they haven't had very good experiences with your one white friend, but then you sit there and say, well, they've always been nice to me. Of course, you're white. This is a form of gaslighting. It's trying to get people to question their ability to understand certain implications with respect to who they are as a person. And I don't really like seeing it. It makes me upset. I'm not necessarily saying that what Jay or what Maya have outlined is or is not true. But what I'm pointing out is there are now 2 black people who are saying the same thing, who I can corroborate are probably more familiar with William than I am. And I think that needs to be taken seriously.
Real quick.
I think William, you're coming in here. What are you here for? What's your motivation? What is your motivation here? With your changing your avatar all over the fucking place. I would like to know what your motivation is here. Would you care to address any of these issues? Would you care to address any of these issues?
What issue do I need to address, darling?
Call me darling.
This is part of the point. This is part of the point that was made. Let's see who gets it. Continue.
If I can, because before he tipped off, I said I wanted to be able to ask him. So William, you had shared on one of my streams about 2-3 weeks ago that you had just left the faith. You were a day away from the faith. You are now. I don't know about any other conversations you had between then and tonight. All I know is tonight you're hearing people share with you and tell you that this is damaging, this is hurtful, this is problematic. Do you take issue with that? And do you want to fix that? Or are you okay with being a problem?
What would the recommendation be?
No, I asked you a question.
Right. You asked me if I planned on fixing it. So I was like, what is the recommendation? So I can give you an answer.
No.
That's not what you asked.
I did not ask if you wanted to fix it. Do you find it problematic? Do you find it an issue that there are people in the community that find this to be hurtful and or problematic? And
which thing? Which thing?
Are you serious?
Yeah, which thing? Is it the raccoon imagery?
Okay, so let's do this. So let's do this. So when you pull up multiple raccoon imagery, and then
I only have the one raccoon image.
Then I've seen. I know I've seen two, but let's just do this.
This is just the one.
I pulled it up. So raccoon or coon, according to the dictionary, slang extremely disparaging and offensive, a contemptuous term used to refer to a black person.
Okay.
So people are saying that cycle with actual black people.
Right. So excuse me. Wait. Because the raccoon is my favorite animal. Now I'm supposed to not display it since I have for 10 years. I'm supposed to not do that now because someone has said they're offended by it. Is that what's going on?
No. I think you're. It's like point head. You're missing the point.
Well,
no, I'm asking what I should do about it. How much bending over should I do for this?
Hold on.
Okay.
This is
again.
This is
let us.
Hold on. This is simple.
Yeah, let us go.
This is simple. William, do you care about people?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay, William, do you care about people and their ability, their liberty to be free of hate, or the threat of hate, or any type of bias, racism, anything that would be anti who they are? Are you pro them being free of that? Or are you more in the school of, well, I'm going to do what I want to do no matter how it makes anyone else feel?
Oh, I like to take people as serious as I take myself. But I mean, I'm not altruistic in the way that I'm going to do a whole lot of changing if people are overreacting to something quite just novel. I mean, normal.
Okay, but I don't think you maybe heard my question clearly.
I think I do understand what you're saying. You're asking me, do I care that what I'm doing may offend some people who are very sensitive?
Not offend. I'm not worried about offense. I'm asking you, are you concerned if it hurts people, if it causes damage?
To some degree, it depends on what it is that we're talking about.
Okay, well, right now
I don't think that. Okay, let me ask you, Oz, do you think that this is legitimately causing damage to someone that this avatar that I've had for 10 years?
I can tell you right now, dating a black woman and my godfather being a black man, they would, in this context, yes, see this as problematic. They would see this and view this as problematic, especially when you flipped it to another black man's face.
You've asked me about the raccoon, but you haven't asked me about the black man's face. Why is that?
Well, because Do I really have to explain that to you?
I mean, it would help if you asked me about it instead of just drew a conclusion that I'm being racist.
Well, okay. So why would you go from a raccoon face to a black man's face?
Because Veckel watches Gur streams sometimes.
Okay, so you think that just dissolves and does away with any hint of your presentation coming off or appearing to be racist?
Well, I mean, I can't control how people perceive things, and that's not my job.
Well, no. But
if they have a question, they can ask me about it. But I'm not going to, preemptively defend everything I do.
William, you and I, and everybody's muted right now. You and I, our perceptions are our realities. That is our reality, and the perception that you're giving off right now, going from the coon with the tapping fingers to a black man's face, does come off very suggestive to the racist slant. That's it. That just is what it is.
Okay. So what do you want me to do here, Oz?
What do you think you should do?
Oh, I don't think that I'm doing anything wrong. Therefore, I don't think there's anything I need to correct.
Okay. Well, then for me, that tells me enough about how you view the people in the community, because I'll tell you how I would deal with it. If someone told me, Oz, you did this thing, and it caused hurt, or it caused pain, or it caused problems, or it facilitated further racist or bigoted ideas or ideals, I would immediately cut it off. That's the difference between you and I.
You're correct. We are different in that regard.
Can I ask you a question? I'm not saying you didn't do this. You obviously did. But how many people came to him and said, William, why did you do this? This caused hurt and this caused harm. And how many people screamed, racist, he's this, he's that, and then came on here to scream about it, right? Like, how many people said, hey, so yeah, if somebody came to me and said, hey, this hurt me, you might get one response. But if somebody just made up a bunch of bullshit in their head and started screaming about it, I don't think I would be very, open to consider their opinion at that point. Would you agree?
Right. Pixie, if you're directing that at me, I can't speak for everyone else. I can only speak for me. And I wanted to, and obviously am having that conversation with William. So I don't know. I can tell you, I've been put in the corner several times on some of my ideas or ideals, and by all means, I had to step back and say, what do I do for the greater good of humanity? What do I do for the greater good of the people around me?
Right. What I'm asking you, because you addressed my comments about earlier when they were saying antagonistic things, and I said, and they called him antagonistic, and I said, are you trying to antagonize him? Because he's not antagonizing you. You called that out. So I'm saying, what was effective to you? Was it somebody who put you in the corner by speaking to you the way you just spoke to William? Or was it somebody like the people in the comments typing bullshit and coming up to yell a bunch of crap before jumping off to type more bullshit? Which one was more effective?
If I can be 100, I've been affected by both, to be honest with you. There's been situations that I've been in more highly impacted by the one-on-one, and there's been others that have been more highly affected by the hearing the response from the whole, right? From the whole. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but
no, I think that's fair.
I've been impacted by both.
I think that's fair. I was honestly wondering, because one way tends to shut me down real fast.
I don't.
And that's why I said, if you're doing the thing that you complain about, I don't see you as better than the thing you're complaining about.
Yeah. I'm not.
I just have to add. Sorry, Oz. I'm just going to jump in here and say that from what I'm hearing from Will, and I'm sorry if this is sort of harsh, Will, but you don't seem to care that your actions are sort of upsetting people in the community. You seem to think your personal wants overrides the well-being of others around you.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't want to pile on here, but I'm still puzzled about what's your motivation here, Will. Now, what are you trying to achieve? Is there a motivation? Is there something you'd like to contribute to the discussion that we've had this evening, other than flashing raccoons on the fucking screen?
Okay, I'm sorry. I've been extraordinarily respectful. Okay, I didn't come and interrupt anybody.
No, I understand
I didn't say anything.
But I'm curious as to what your what is your motivation here?
I'm sorry. I thought that this discussion forum was open for people who wanted to, communicate.
No, but nobody's saying.
Okay, what we're gonna do, William, just you and I for just a moment. I'm so sorry to put everybody backstage. I love everyone that's here. I do apologize. Okay, so William. Okay, so I did a Google search, which was only like 5 seconds long. So don't take my word for it. Please look into it for yourselves. I did see the connection between raccoons and racism, at least in the U.S. I don't know you from Adam. Like you and I, we've had a few interactions, so I don't know how you really are. I do know that you have recently, maybe not become an atheist, but you have walked away from at least organized religion, I think is a fair way to put it. So, but one of the comments I did see was you changing your avatar from raccoon to black person. And as I was stepped away, I was listening on my phone. I heard you mention something about Feckle. Yeah. Who is this person on the screen?
Thank you for asking, Gur. This is Feckle.
Wait, that's Feckle?
Yes, this is Feckle.
Okay. Aside from the potential racism that's been alleged to you, is this like a private picture, or is this like doxing his info? Just because, obviously,
I'm trying to remember the name.
Options, but yeah.
No, this is from a video that's out there on YouTube that he did. I want to say it's like Unbreakable or Uncontrollable I forgot what it is, but it's out there for everyone to see if they look for it.
Okay. So now, as far as the raccoon goes, did you, again, I'm just asking questions here. I'm not trying to be antagonistic one way or the other. I'm just I had no idea this was a thing. As far as the raccoon goes, now I will say, when I subbed to your channel last week, I think it was the whole praise debacle. I noticed in one of your streams, it was called something like "Welcome to my Coondom," and I thought, what the fuck is that about? And when I clicked on it, I realized, oh, okay, yeah, it's raccoons. Okay, maybe that's not racist. But it was very fucking questionable, I will say, because I thought, why would you use that word coon? Welcome to my coondom. And I was like, oh, is this guy being a dick right now? But then when I clicked on it, I realized, oh, okay, yeah, raccoon. Maybe that's me just being a naive white guy, but was there any ill intentions behind that title that may give credit to these accusations that you've been given?
Nope. I've also you've probably seen at times like other people in my streams have their own version of raccoon avatars.
Oh,
like the one from Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. It's I don't know why it caught on, but it did. But none of us are racist or anything. But I mean, I'm fine with people assuming that and making fools of themselves, trying to accuse me of something. I don't mind letting them do it. But I've had this avatar for a long time, and it's just like what I said. I like raccoons. I've always worked nights. I'm nocturnal. Mischief, that's raccoons, mode of operation. That's my mode of operation. So I like them, always have, and I'm not going to apologize to anyone for having that as my favorite animal.
Okay. Okay. No, I understand that. Okay. Now, again, when I read the comments in the side chat, because I have not been keeping an eye out on the side chat, but when I did look at it, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jay, who had mentioned that you went from raccoon avatar to black guy avatar that you say is Speckle, which it may be, I don't know. What's and yeah, and praise holding the two babies. Is there any, do you have any intention there, be it negative, positive, or nothing at all, between changing your avatar from a raccoon to a black guy who I guess maybe Beckle?
No more than, I mean, I'm intentionally antagonizing Feckle, but not in a racial slant. The raccoon is my regular avatar. But I mean, I have, just to make everybody feel okay, here's a white guy, clearly a redneck with beer around his belt. So that takes care of some stereotypes there. Is everyone happy now? I've made fun of somebody that's white.
By saying you made fun of somebody that's white, are you implying that you made some fun of somebody that was black?
No more than I'm making fun of this guy right here.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I think that's all the questions I have at the moment. So I'll let everybody back in. But yeah, okay. So as far as the raccoons go, just going off your word here, you like raccoons. You relate to them. They're basically your quote unquote spiritual animal. Is this correct?
I would say that like my totem.
Your totem. Okay. And switching to the black guy is just poking at Feckle because that either is Feckle or avatar that was used on Beckle's channel.
No, it's Feckle.
It is Feckle.
He knows I got it. I do it everywhere I go because it gets under his skin.
Okay. That's all the questions I have at this moment. So I'm gonna let everybody back in. I do appreciate all of you understanding, just because I have to cut through the noise just to get a few questions across. Yeah. If anyone has anything to say about the questions or answers given, by all means, feel free to.
Not really.
Well,
I'm still curious as to why what do you have questions or about any of the topics that have come up or or anything to contribute to the conversation or whatever. Aside, of course, from saying that I'm a loudmouth. But you can call me a loudmouth too. That's okay.
Whoa, when did I call you a loudmouth?
You didn't. Someone else did, but that's fine.
Someone else definitely did, yeah.
To be fair, you have to be a loudmouth in an open room, to be fair. Go ahead, Mark.
I don't know Veckle. I've only run into him once or twice kind of thing into Veckle. I don't know him at all. Is he somebody that doxes others or sort of does things to others that you would take this, well, I'm going to put his face up to sort of mock him kind of thing?
That was... Yeah, that's one reason I was asking. Like, is this image like public info or that's allegedly Veckle? Because listen, I don't like Veckle, but I don't approve of like doxing someone's picture if they don't want it to be shown to the interweb.
It's
even
from
if I
a YouTube. It's a YouTube video that he put out. Okay, it's his video. It's not doxing. It's public. He knows about it. I do this with him all the time.
Okay, but that satisfies that portion for me personally. If he put out that image, then he can't be mad if somebody cops that image. I mean, he could be mad, but it's not doxing at that point, as far as I can tell. It's like if I release the image of my face and somebody else used it, I might be mad that they used it, but not mad at the principle that they're sharing my face around because I did it myself. But anyway.
Yeah, I think there's some people that go a bit far. Like Praise puts people's faces on bodies and really mocks them and stuff, and I think that goes over the line and stuff. But you know, that's praise being praise.
I was just about to say that's definitely praise.
Well, my thing is still, William, if we bring it to your attention that whether you view it or see it as harmless, that is your perception, right? But the rest of the world, the rest of the community, the rest of the people now that you're surrounding yourself with, if you truly have left the faith, they're telling you that these things are problematic and they are hurtful and they are damaging. What I'm hearing from you is a very flippant attitude where you're like, fuck it. I don't care if it's hurtful. I don't care if it's possibly damaging. I don't give a fuck, because the only thing I'm worried about is the way I feel and how I want to present myself. That is my hang up, because either we're here to try to help each other and make this place a better place for all of us to live and navigate this thing we call life together, or it's just a very selfish ambition where it's, yeah, I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to put out there what I want. And I don't give a fuck if it hurts you.
Well, in fairness, Oz, he doesn't have to be part of the community. He can,
No. And he doesn't. He doesn't. But in a stream 2 or 3 weeks ago, in him talking about walking away from the faith and not wanting to subscribe, so to speak, to the ways and the dogma and the rules and the regulations and all of those things that we know Christianity is very, very strict on, where if you are this, you're ex-nayed. If you're this, you're crossed out. If you're this, you're done away with. We're trying to be inclusive. We're trying to be a community, a family, right?
And you wouldn't want to be judgmental like the Christians or anything, right?
If you don't want to be that, then just say that. But if someone tells you, hey, these things that you say or that you do are problematic or hurtful, rather than just saying, well, no, this is just what I do, and signing off on it, say, okay, I think the best thing to do would be, William asked, okay, what should I do then? Instead of taking a defense to it, then what should I do? If the raccoon is your favorite animal, and the fact that you keep changing avatars, I'm becoming weaker and weaker in my my idea of you actually being genuine in this. But if that was your position, you would be asking questions. Okay, what can I do to make sure that I don't hurt anyone? What can I do to make sure that I'm not causing damage? And how can I be an asset rather than a detractor? That's it. That's all.
Thanks.
So what are your feelings on that, William? How does it make you feel?
Well, I don't reckon it matters how I feel about it. Everyone's already made up their mind exactly what I am and what I'm about, and that I'm inconsiderate, and that I should somehow do everything I can to accommodate everyone's particular trigger moments.
Have you got a topic? Well, is there something we can discuss or something? Because it seems like
we can change.
I didn't ask for this, Stephanie.
All of a sudden, all about you.
No, I didn't ask for this, Stephanie.
Yeah,
I realized
to be fair,
that.
He wasn't even in here when people made it about him.
I did.
If we would like to change the topic,
I'm trying to change the fucking subject. I'm sorry for being a
but to be fair, like William didn't ask for any of this. To be fair,
he did. And Stephanie, I did this because I was getting ready to ask him right as he dipped out. And I'm not saying he dipped out on purpose, but he was leaving, and I brought it up. So that's 100% on me. And William, all the questions that I've asked tonight are 100% authentic, and no, I'm not one of those that just throw them out, disclude them, and they can never be a part of anything that we talk about in this community. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It's about the checks and balances, and I hope I hope that comes through, because I've tried to be peaceful and very cordial and direct in this, in either asking the questions or providing the insight or even the broad aspects of it as I can. But we can definitely change the topic. But William, the one thing I will say is I will call shit out in a heartbeat, and it doesn't matter who, where, when, what it is. If I see something that I think is problematic, even on my part, I'm willing to talk about it. And I'm really willing to dissect it. So that was on me, Stephanie. So yes, we can 100% change the vibe.
Okay. Wait, before we do though, let me get it in.
Jay's like, well, before.
Okay, Jay.
No, because seriously,
no, I'm joking.
I really get sick of this shit that we do, where people who are at the tip of the spear, when we deal with racism, we deal with trans issues. You're talking to people whose lives are marginalized by this shit. You have no idea what we go through. And then this attitude that when our community that is literally sitting around having conversations about how to be better allies, how to help, and then we're going, pay attention to the insensitive imagery in front of your face right now. And then we're told, no, sorry, I can only hear you if you discuss your dehumanizations and harsh, humble tones. And can you please submit a written 5-page description of exactly what hurt your feelings and the precise American history behind it? And can you please make sure you list all the relevant No. Y'all have to stop that. And
You're
Pixie,
free to misrepresent what I said
I'm not
all you
misrepresenting
want,
you
just
said.
like you made the assumption that happened to be
I can't
wrong.
hear you yelling. You're turning. I can't hear. I can't.
Well, just let Jay finish. Let Jay finish.
Pixie,
Agree. Let's
you
let Jay finish
stepped out. I'm sorry, you stepped out, honey, because again, William Freeman was here last week, and everyone in front of you saw how antagonistic and trolling he was. So when he shows up cycling through the same images, all we're doing is saying we have a history with this person. Now, I don't know why you thought that we were senselessly attacking him. All I said was he's here to be antagonistic, and we based that on his previous history of being antagonistic to the people on this panel, on this show. Now, you may not like that, but I suggest before you go defending this man, go back and rewatch the tape from last week, because you will see exactly why people called him out. And then on top of that, he has been asked at least 10 times, why did you call in? What did you have to say? And what are you here for? And he never says anything. Why? Because just like last week, he's waiting for us to hear what we're talking about so he can antagonize us by sticking up for the other side. Now, hang on, I'm not done. And now it's been explained to him the problematic history of the images he was cycling. And your excuse is, sorry, that's my favorite animal. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to harass and antagonize this one black dude by juxtaposing his image with the raccoon. But sorry, that's not supposed to be problematic to any other people of color. And let me guess, now black people better not be offended the next time we see people using coons, because they're just cute, cuddly animals. And so fuck the history of their racist use. Black people can no longer be offended, right? That's what he said. Now we can't be offended because they're just, no, brother, you should pick a different animal that doesn't offend people. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to put them on my channel like that. And I'm definitely not going to juxtapose them with the image of a black person. If you didn't know, now you know, and the responsibility is on you to never let that shit happen again.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And Gur, at this point, Gur, like now. Like, this is full troll mode. Like, now he's got a seal up there. Like, at this point, Gur, this is on you.
I didn't even see
this is on you, bro.
Yeah.
This is on you to limit.
What's wrong with
this is troll shit. And Pixie,
he just gave me this advice, Oz. He just said pick a different animal. Now you're saying that seal. I'm lost.
No, this is cold.
You're making it all about
I'm not going to
yourself.
speak for William, but I am going to speak for myself.
You know, you're not
No, hold
listening
on.
at all.
Stop. I'm not going to speak for William. I am going to speak for myself. And
Jesus Christ.
So here's the thing, right? You keep telling me
He's
you have
dead,
a history
Oz.
with Will.
He died
You
today.
telling me
That was today. That was today. My bad.
Let's let Pixie talk. Go ahead, Pixie.
You keep telling me you have a history with Will and that he's been antagonistic towards you. And I have already granted to you that I think that that is inside the realm of possibilities. Why? Because I also have a history with Will. And I'm sure it's probably much more extensive than yours. As I said, there are plenty we disagree on. There are plenty of times we have battled it out, and there are plenty of times I have yelled at him. Okay?
Girl,
I
what are you
get it.
doing, bro?
Right? So I'm not saying that he's never done this. Right? What I did
So
say
then let him
was
slip
that
in there.
you making assumptions and throwing around accusations.
I didn't make any assumptions. I
made
didn't
you
make
know
any
better
accusations.
than
No,
what you were
stop.
complaining
You're
about. Hold on,
equivocating.
no,
If you're going to call
you
me
wanted to
out,
finish.
then you're going to deal
How
with
come
it.
I don't get to finish? How come
Because
I
you're
don't get
digging
to
yourself a
finish?
grave. But go ahead, keep digging.
How
No,
come I
let
don't
him
get to
dig.
finish?
Let's let Pixie finish. Go ahead, Pixie. Listening.
All right. Now, he came up here. He didn't say anything. Then he excused himself and he left. Then people made him the topic of conversation, and he came back. And
I
you
did.
want to
Not
know
people. I did.
why he was, and you want to know why, and he needed to what at that moment? What justify his presence to you? Why? To prove to you that he wasn't being antagonistic? What did he do before he was made the topic of a conversation that
Pixie.
made him antagonistic? Yes, it's your damn assumption.
You asked a question. Can I answer it?
That's fair.
Oh, I already did, but I'll answer it again. He came here last week antagonizing us about trans people. Now, if you've heard anything tonight, you should know how utterly unacceptable it is and how we should not have to wait for somebody to spew that type of nonsense again. But
Do
then
you
he
believe in
comes on.
accountability?
Stop. Yeah, I
Do you believe in? Do you
And
know what
that's what we did.
accountability requires? Do you know what
What?
accountability requires?
What?
It requires the opportunity to change and redeem yourself. You know what he did tonight? He sat through a conversation about trans and he didn't say anything and he excused himself and you still went after him. So tell me how you believe in accountability again.
Oh my goodness, Pixie, we believe in accountability because we believe in calling him out and not giving him a platform for this nonsense. What are you even getting at? First of all, we did try to have the conversation with Oz. Keeps telling you over and over again. We tried to have the conversation, just like over and over again. We mentioned in the chat exactly what he had did last week and what the problem was with his images this today.
Would you like to talk about last week?
And you literally sat there and ignored the fact that not just me, but other people in the chat called him
I
out
would
for
love to talk
using
about
those
last week.
imageries. Matter of fact, people called out Gurr for not moderating the stream and letting him have those images up there. So
if
you keep
that's
putting
what
this
you
on me
came
when
here-
it's the entire community has noticed the problems with this behavior. But you keep coming at me as though there's something about me. If you could just discredit what I have to say, it'll paper over. What is it about me?
It's not about you. You're insignificant to me. It's not about you.
Oh, good then. So then you can so then go back and review the tape and acknowledge what this fool did. I'm done having this conversation with you because you're just not listening.
Okay, I think it needs to be taken down. I'm really sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but I think it needs to settle down a notch. What I'm seeing is a lot of conflict.
Continue.
Well, there's a lot of conflict in our community.
Yep, you're so much better.
Let's let Mark go ahead. Mark.
Yeah, like so. I don't know, William. I think it is a problem that he doesn't care who he's hurting. That's not something I would care about. I don't, William. If you want to be part of our community, I think you've got to start caring about the community. You know, you're not going to be part of the community if you're just like, well, I don't care what people think and how they're hurt by what I do. Like that's just basic empathy for other people in your social group. I'm not sure. I really feel for everybody. I really do. I get why you're upset, Jay. I think that things are getting a bit tense between everybody, though. I just want to calm a little.
again, I would love to have, rather than focusing on personalities, if you want to talk about last week, sure, let's talk about last week. That was an interesting stream. I was, my usual obnoxious self. But that goes back to my original point. What's the motivation for being here? You heard what I had to say, and I believe I had a bad couple of days dealing with issues, arguing with people being ridiculous, and considering all of the issues that have come up in the past couple of days, and trying to get stuff done. And I'm sad that while I was talking and ranting on, you popped in, and you maybe didn't have an opportunity to weigh in on any of those issues. Would you care to now, William, or not? Or what else?
I did try, Steph.
Well,
okay, then please do now, okay? And I'll shut up.
I mean,
I'll give Sparkle a chance to talk.
Okay. Now, Jay, this is directed at you. All right, I get, and Pixie doesn't really need me to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I get that you're pissed. Okay, I get that from your point of view,
Please
Pixie.
Don't.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, just don't, Sparkle. Just don't. Like,
thank you so much.
She didn't need to defend William, and you don't need to defend her.
For fuck's sake! Can we actually have a conversation?
Yes, I just wanted to defend
Everyone is
Pixie.
letting
Go
William
on.
deflect from why he's here. William, the entire panel wants to know.
I wasn't trying to deflect, by the way.
Pixie's dead. Thanks for Sparkle. We get it. Me and Pixie are cool. Let's move on. William, why are you here? Everybody is dying to know.
Yeah, well, the reason that I'm here is because I've been watching Gurr as he's been dealing with Bond, and I have a lot of respect for what Gurr was doing there. And I was wanting to be a part of the panel. I didn't know that I would have to answer for every little thing that you guys perceived as an insult. But as far as last week's discussion,
why it was an insult? Do you understand
no,
why
I was going to answer. Hold on, I'm talking to Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason we didn't get anywhere last week, I don't know why anyone took offense. There was a claim made in the room that in order to be on the panel, you had to be pro-trans. And I asked for a definition as to what that meant, and then everything blew up. And I never got to say anything else after that point. So I'm not sure what I could have possibly said that offended anyone.
In order to be on the panel, you needed to be pro-trans. I don't know if that was ever a stipulation, because God
I think Pocket
knows.
Locker
I said it's time to be pro-trans. Yeah, Stephanie made it.
Well,
clear.
it is time to be pro-trans.
Exactly.
If you're not there,
and he tried to sit up here and have a play fucking word games because he didn't know what pro-trans means exactly. But again, we don't have any reason to say he's being antagonistic. He's just asking questions about what it means to be pro people who they're making laws against. But explain. Come on, William. Tell us where you're at. Because I know you're really on our side, aren't you?
Well, and real quick, this was on Gurr's stream last week, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Gurr, it was exhausting. It kept me off the internet for 3 days.
So Gurr is the host. Did you have any criteria? Did you have any expectations? You have to be this or you have to be that to join the stream?
No. And as a matter of fact, I like talking with people that I disagree with. Just being blunt. Like, I prefer to talk to people I disagree with.
All right. So for clarity, there was no criteria, there were no expectations. Anyone and everyone could be a part of the stream. So now we go.
That's not the way Pocket Locker made it sound.
But it's not Pocket Locker. It's not Pocket Locker. It's not your stream.
Jay might have said something along the lines of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but you may have said something along the lines of, now is the time to stand with trans people.
No. What Jason, what Pocket Locker said was, to be on this panel, you need to be pro-trans. And so to clarify whether I should be there or not.
Larger conversation.
None of that.
If we're going to debate what I said, I'm just going to repeat what I said. What I said, because Stephanie made it clear that trans people are simply needing our help to protect their rights. I'm saying for non-trans people, that requires us to step up and be unapologetically pro-trans right now. The conversation was, we said you need to be pro-trans or get off the stage. We say it every day. We'll continue to say it. Now go ahead and pretend that you don't understand what pro-trans means again.
I mean, do you people,
I'm not sure whether you're...
Do you guys, does Hillary's emails in the chat know what nuance is?
No, I can tell you that, no.
Okay, if Hillary's email wants to come in, I'll leave.
No.
And one last time.
Do you know what nuance is? It's like, do you know what you know, okay, you probably took typing in high school, Hillary. And you probably learned how to type, "Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party." Right? So when someone says in a situation where trans people are under attack all over the fucking globe, now is the time to stand with trans people because they are under attack. Seems pretty simple. It's not a qualification. It's a fucking typing test.
And Gur, before we move forward, just again, it was your platform last week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you lay out any specific criteria?
No. The only criteria that I had is don't use slurs, and that's pretty much it. You can say how you feel, but just be careful in your wording, and then we'll engage from there. That's it.
Okay, that's all.
I actually banned quite a few people last week. Actually,
that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I mean, come on. I was here talking with a whole bunch of not real trans-friendly folk.
And then I got Hillary's in the emails in the chat who wants to come on the panel. Apparently, going, Jay just self-ID'd as a trans woman. I think that we need to
kiss
support
my
her.
ass.
Again, y'all are so classy.
You're telling on yourselves. You're just telling on yourselves. You don't have any fucking idea, and you're not listening.
Okay.
They don't care. That's the problem. These are people who just...
No, they don't.
They're here to be in a side chat and make fun out of whatever people are saying because they think it's fucking cool and hip. I'm not done. And they think it's a fucking joke. I can guarantee, well, I know Doubting Thomas is a white guy. He's an older white guy, and I'm pretty sure he lives in the United States. So, of course, he doesn't know what the fuck discrimination looks like. He's never faced it. Of course it's funny to people like him.
Hillary's emails, I've never been accused of speaking obscurely.
Oh, Gur, you're way better than me, bro. You're way better than me.
It just blows my mind how, like, just openly and evidently oblivious people can be to what the fuck is happening right underneath their goddamn noses.
Like,
I agree with you, Leo. I appreciate that because it is intensely obvious to me that people hate me. I welcome their hatred. I will quote FDR. I welcome their hatred. You bring it.
I mean, I don't.
Bring it. You bring it. You try to eliminate me. Go ahead.
I don't want
to. Give it.
That's not cool, Hillary's emails. That sort of, association with Jay just ID'd as this and
it's
that kind
bullshit
of
is what it is.
They don't care.
You don't get Hillary's emails. You do not get to define who other people are under any fucking circumstances. Who appointed you Jesus?
Sorry, I was just giving commentary.
That would be me. I am the president of the Jesus Appointing Council. We have not yet elected.
Presumably God.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
It's such an emotionally charged topic.
Leo.
It's emotionally charged because people are hurt. Sparkle,
and yes, I get it. I'm just pointing out that it's emotionally charged.
It's emotionally charged because people are being actually physically, emotionally hurt.
And I just wonder how many
on a daily fucking basis.
Right.
Open your goddamn eyes.
My eyes are very open, thank you, Stephanie.
So here's the question. I just wonder how many
Not
of these
sure
people
they are, mate.
are going to churches, are
Well, that
going
proves my theory.
to the legislatures, are going to CPAC and going, this is such an emotionally charged issue. If only we could just bring down the temperature in the room a little bit. Why is everyone going on about these politically charged trans issues? It's funny, they only bring the marriage mentality and everybody calm down and let's be less divisive to us.
Sparkle. Suppose your state legislature or your country outlawed your doctor fixing your broken arm. How would you feel?
I mean, that would suck. I'm not gonna lie. Like breaking your arm, you know, the outlawing breaking an arm. Well.
No, not outlawing breaking an arm, forbidding your doctor for treating your broken arm. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I was trying to answer your question. It would suck. Okay? It would be horrible. I'd be in pain. Okay?
Would you ask other people to either fix your arm or would you ask other people to maybe protest gently, politely, curiously against to allow a fucking doctor to treat your fucking arm that's busted?
The point was making, be as emotionally charged as you want.
Dude, how emotionally charged would you be with a busted arm and no doctor to care for it?
Or sunburn.
What?
Sparkle
knows what I'm answer my question.
Yeah.
Answer my fucking question.
Midnight?
Only because the sunburn would specifically apply to his particular.
Sparkle, answer my question.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to hassle Sparkles. I think.
No, I'm not trying to hassle anyone. I'm trying to get people to understand the critical nature of
No,
what's
I didn't say
going
you,
on
Stephanie. I said William was trying to hassle Midnight. So
only in the normal way that I read Midnight.
Mark, I know William is joking.
You haven't answered my goddamn question.
How would
What
you
would
feel,
you like me to
Sparkle?
answer?
Well, share how you would feel, not what the like. So when people ask you about your feelings, right, how you feel, sort of saying, "Hey, the situation sucks," isn't a feeling, right? That isn't a feeling. So when we say, "Hey, how do you feel about this situation?" You're just re-outlining the situation. And this is sort of what I asked William, what his feelings were on this. Why can't people talk about how they feel about things rather than just say, hey, this situation is this? Because Steph's talking about how she feels.
I'm talking about a literal medical situation where you can't access medical care. And I'm asking you if you know, I wouldn't consider it unreasonable if you got emotional about it.
Right.
If the law prevented a doctor from healing your from treating your broken arm, I would be on your side saying, you know what? That's bullshit. Someone should treat your broken arm. And if I were you in that circumstance, I'd be beside myself. So when you accuse me of being emotional about this,
hold on. I didn't.
I've got a broken arm.
I didn't accuse you of being emotional. I'm just saying I know that everybody in the room is emotionally charged. Okay, everybody in the room.
Do you understand why?
Yes,
this is
I
what I'm trying to get
understand
at.
why. But here's why you're not missing. The more emotionally charged it is, the less you're able to understand each other, and you're not able.
Do you understand what it's like to have a broken arm?
Look, I think Sparkle's got a point that when we become
he does not.
overly emotional, we can't communicate how we feel. This exchange, sort of communicating how you feel, Stephanie, I get a lot more understanding when we talk like this, and you tell me how you feel, and I can get a lot more understanding of it than just sort of over emotional, if that makes sense. And I do want to understand. I want to understand how you feel.
Well, but Mark, it comes to a point.
It's like, no. Think about the analogy. Think about it carefully. It would be very easy for you, perhaps, to understand that someone needs help I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
Right. I need help
Busted
for a
arm.
medical thing. Yes.
And the government the state is preventing people from delivering that help. Now, the person who is needing that help might be extremely emotional about that.
Yep.
And the people who are saying that help should not be provided are standing on what ground? Where do they stand? I mean, what harm does it do to them to see that the person receives help?
Well, they're kind of standing around denying that broken arms exist.
Exactly. So, precisely. And so when those people come back at the person with the broken arm and say, emotions are clouding the discussion.
All right.
It seems to me to be not useful in any way, shape, or form, because there is a person with a broken arm who does not have care, who cannot receive care, and the people out in the public are saying, we don't care. I think you really need to think about whose emotions are really matter in this situation, and where the facts of the matter lie. Because what it amounts to otherwise is gaslighting. Oh, well, there are no broken arms. Oh, well, people who say there are broken arms are
Can you really
emotional.
be sure your arm is broken, though? Like, maybe it's just a phase.
Hey, to wrap this up.
Right.
Oz, I think you had something you wanted to say, and then I'm sorry I have to end this, but y'all can hang out backstage, but I've got to go after this. Oz, floor is yours.
Oh no, Stephanie hit the nail on the head.
Oz, I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Oz, can you mute just because we're getting echo like crazy?
I'm not hearing it.
Oh, I was okay. So, maybe it was me. Sorry. But I just want to add this because my comment apparently started a lot of this confusion. Stephanie, can you give me a close to accurate estimate on the percentage of the American population that's trans?
0.2%.
0.2%.
Maybe
right?
maybe 0.3%.
But when we're talking about laws in every state, y'all, they are dealing with incredibly powerful opposition. The people that run this joint are out to get them. And there is not enough of them to fight back on their own. So the same way black people needed white people to step up, trans people need cis people to step up now. Steph, I hope you don't
Can I
mind me
piggyback
adding
off that really quickly? Because that's a very valid point. Y'all know who funds the Daily Wire, the one that's got the people saying how this evil, degenerate ideology needs to be eradicated. Do you know who funds them? Do you know who gives them all their money?
The churches?
The oil industry.
Oh,
Daily Wire is
Daily
funded
Wire's a
primarily by
nightmare.
the oil industry. In fact, the oil industry, the fossil fuel industry, funds a large amount of conservative media.
And I just the one thing I wanted to say really quick is and to William, if you're still listening, this is why now 100% I take issue with you, and I have problems with you, bro. I have problems with you. Is if we're going to be allies and we're going to defend and we're going to love and care about the people around us, as soon as someone says that someone is hurt or I've damaged or possibly hurt somebody with something that I've said or the way that I said something, I'm going to take that into consideration. And I'm going to reevaluate what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, and who I'm directing it to. Point blank motherfucking period. Motherfucking period. And if you claim to be an ally and you don't have that honest introspect and be able to look in the goddamn motherfucking mirror and say, I'm doing everything that I can do to be an ally and defend the people around me that I love and that I care about and that I call friend, fuck you. Fuck you.
And with that,
I'm,
good night.